Welcome in. Coming up on today's program, the cure for financial paralysis. How to get out of money shock. We've all heard of FOMO, fear of missing out. But many people are missing out on opportunities to grow their wealth because they're stuck in financial paralysis, which may have several causes. Disorganized financial documents, keeping up with others, disagreement with their spouse or partner about what financial actions to take. Now, this can result in lack of action or an acute case of financial paralysis. Now, it's always something with investing. When things seem out of control, on the upside, the downside, many times the markets are just heading sideways. And this creates financial fears, bewilderment, and all that prevails. But what's their source? And how can we control this to avoid financial paralysis, find money, peace of mind, and actually accomplish our goals? Mark Twain once said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And look at these newspaper headlines. And the media can help us freak out, but sometimes for good reason. This is a headline about the Wall Street Journal about the World Trade Center attack like the next day. And the Wall Street Journal's headquarters was incapacitated. They got this newspaper out by working remotely. Then later, Bush claims we're at war. It affected the markets, it affected everything. In fact, the stock market stopped trading for several days as they had to work things through. And then there are newspaper headlines that are the markets themselves. This is a classic. The 1987 crash where the Dow dropped 500 points. But guess what? Things change over time. And here's the Dow topping 10,000. And we've had ups and downs since then. And then later, the Dow 20,000. The Dow right now, this taping, is over 30,000, and we're in a market pullback. So the progress of economies move forward, and businesses, as they reinvent themselves, make progress. But we can still be in financial panic and paralysis. And when you see on CNBC, for example, the graphic markets in turmoil, it actually might be a good sign. Just remember, as fear and greed prevail, where do you go and what do you think about for information and context? One place to go is right here at What's Next with Money, a program offering smart insights to guide your financial decisions in a non-commercial setting. So we're talking about the cure for financial paralysis, how to get out of money shock. You want to try to find out and ask yourself a few questions. What is upsetting you? What is unsettling, unnerving? And it may not be the market or these external forces or geopolitical headlines. More likely, it's the decision made, the decision not made, or a decision recently made that may have caught us off guard and unaware. Harry Truman said, there's no such thing as a bad decision, they're just more decisions. So the question of the day, I invite you in the comments section, and we'll discuss this. What are some decisions that you may have made or thinking about that might have led to financial paralysis? Let us know what you think. Now let's ask ourselves these questions. Why am I feeling financial unease? Is it fear of the unknown? Is it regret over an action or an inaction taken? Is it envy of others? FOMO? Are you saying or asking yourself, I need to do something with my money? My dad used to ask this all the time, where do I put my money? Some of us might be cash poor. And as market conditions changed, have I, as an investor or retirement saver investor, have my attitude and approach toward money changed? Then we should go way back, and financial planners and financial counselors, even financial therapists do this. They ask, how was money discussed and handled when I grew up? How does that affect me now? Do I have money flashbacks? Am I hearing money talk in my head and sensing it into my subconscious? Write down what that money talk is saying. This will be very helpful as you clear the air here. Now here's a big one. Several big ones. Did I take a financial action that I'm embarrassed about? For example, did I create a short-term or long-term tax problem? Did I invest part or all of my emergency fund to buy an investment? Did I borrow to buy an investment on margin, or maybe using a home equity line of credit, or using monies that were set aside or are set aside for designated debt reduction strategies? And did I do this for investing? Did I even do it with my kids' college money? Did I make an investment that I did not and do not understand, like Bitcoin or some crypto? And you think of recent promotions of celebrities pushing crypto at big sporting events like the Super Bowl. That's interesting, but what do they know about crypto? And there's no education offered, no context. We do have a video called Bitcoin Risk and Reward Explained, and I'll have a link to that. But this kind of promotion of new investment opportunities can create uncertainty. And right now, some of the exchanges for crypto have questions about their safety, access, and again, very little regulation, no education. Our video sets this in context. To me, that would give me financial paralysis if I was involved in that right now. Now, what about spousal partner communications? Am I making decisions or taking money actions behind my spouse's back? Am I not consulting my spouse about key financial goals and dreams? Are our money actions aligned and reflective of our shared values and goals? Now, we're talking about the cure for financial paralysis, how to get out of money shock. Now, a big one here, very common, especially in America, keeping up with others. Do you have targets for financial happiness? Here's what I'm asking. Do you have a target for like the ultimate salary, or I want this salary in 3 or 5 years, or I want my net worth to be X? It's good to have those goals, but you might ask, what is that benchmark tied to? Is it realistic? And are you really trying to keep up with maybe peers, celebrities, friends, relatives? Remember, everyone's wired differently, especially when it comes to money. And you may have a lot of differences, money thinking differences from them, and you have special skills they don't have. So embrace your differences. You be you. Now, one of the wildest things in behavioral finance on social comparison, a friend and professional colleague of mine, Dr. Sarah Newcomb with Morningstar, she's a behavioral economist. And her research has shown most people in every income group compare themselves with people they think are doing better than they are. In other words, most of us appear to be actively making ourselves feel bad. We're controlling this. We're making ourselves feel bad about our own financial circumstances by always looking up at people that have more. Couple stories. When I was young, I loved aviation, still do, but I loved helicopters. And I would complain to my parents, why can't we buy a helicopter? Why can't we have one? Well, of course, nobody really had one. But my mother gave me some good advice. She said, the people doing the television and radio traffic reports that are in a helicopter in the morning and the afternoons don't own those helicopters. No, hardly anybody owns personal helicopters, so just like lighten up. Get that out of your head. Secondly, I have always been interested in Corvettes. That's been my dream car. And 30 years plus after I dreamt of it, I did buy a used Corvette. It kind of looks like this. This is somewhat its color. But as I really dug into it, I've been to the factory twice. I've studied, and of course I did buy used, and I bought the right color combination, and I bought the lowest cost model possible, one of the last versions of the front engine Corvettes, 2017. But at the same time, I'm looking at McLarens or other, like ones that are like 3 times as much. And so friends of mine said, lighten up, just chill, go for the Corvette. It is your dream car. It has higher ground clearance. It costs a third of a McLaren. It doesn't have the storage challenges of a McLaren. So I compromised. I did go for the Corvette, but I also went for the McLaren. I bought a $10 model of a McLaren that I keep, And this keeps me happy. This keeps me centered with my purchase. So I'm not doing FOMO. Now, I don't have a clue about the net worth or net happiness of others. And now many of us can see salaries of others on Glassdoor and certainly what other companies are paying. But it took me a while, and as I became a more experienced and thoughtful investor, I realized I had a talent and a growing patience to do well as an investor. So for me, I moved away from FOMO of salary comparison or salary envy. That went away because I was finding, using my own talents, I was exceeding my asset growth and charity targets irrespective of my salary. I discovered I was more of a business person and a professional investor than a salaried professional. And once I found this, I was happier. It saved time and it fed my identity. This realization cured me of some of my social comparison. So as I said, you do you. This is a case I did me. Another big question is, am I learning and growing in what I learn? Am I following somebody that might make me panic, like an investment guru on TV or online or through a subscription service? And maybe is that not working out? Remember, these investment gurus, many of them are very smart, many of them are ethical, but they often tell you when to buy, but they rarely tell you when to sell. And here's why. They don't know your circumstance, your financial situation, family status, risk tolerance. They don't know your level of financial knowledge or experience or your goals. They don't know you. What can I read or watch on money that might calm me down? Well, first, I would recommend What's Next with Money, because we've suffered and triumphed over the bruises and the bumps of investing and growing wealth for 30 plus years and have the training to prove it. We've created 50 episodes to date and are growing. I'm also going to have a list of books I recommend in the comments section, and we usually have a link for your convenience about a PDF we created called How to Take Control of Your Finances. This has links to government and nonprofit organizations to help you understand saving, investing, credit, borrowing, all the basics. A great, simple guide, and this will add, I think, calmness to your financial life. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. This helps to move our content to more folks. Here's a big one. Do I need to work with a professional financial planner, financial counselor, credit counselor, or housing counselor? Here are some other questions to ask yourself. What really matters for you with money? What are you grateful for? It's often good to consider experiences and friends versus possessions are hitting certain arbitrary money targets. And what were some of these past money targets? Have you surpassed them? You probably have. And how does that make you feel? So as you list your goals or have a financial checklist or your money map, things that we recommend here, you can go back and see what were your salary targets, your net worth targets, and be grateful for the progress you've made and the learning that you can accomplish and enjoy as you move toward your goals. For retirement fears and fatigue, this is a whole nother category. And we have several videos covering this area, and I'll have a few links. For retirees and prospective retirees, there are a whole set of other considerations, like finding part-time work or activities that you love and can move you into pre and through retirement. How does this align also with the timing of retirement for your spouse? How would the both of you plan and spend 3 months of no work? This is a fun thing to think about, but also can move you toward the idea of part-time or phased retirement. What would you do? Service, volunteering, mentoring, working in a setting or volunteering in a setting you've always had curiosity about? Then there are money principles to remember. My church's pastor has a profound quote, and I love when he says this. We spend too much time remembering the things we should forget and forgetting things we should remember. Now, I've spent hours doing that in this personal finance and investing space, and the YouTube channel really was birthed out of what I'm about to say. I have the financial scars, calluses, and muscle memory to prove it. I probably, as an active investor for 3+ decades, exhausted myself on that score till I got those principles deep inside me. And here are some of those time-tested principles. Portfolio risk appears to diminish over time. So the more time you have, the more less risk your portfolio looks like it's undertaking. All investments go up and down. Volatility and change. This is the price for higher rewards and returns to keep up with inflation and to keep up our purchasing power. So we endure and need to actually celebrate volatility. Also, a lot of people tend to do the wrong thing in investing at the wrong time. This is very common. Diversification can be your best friend. The assets in your portfolio that are correlated to each other or to the market, or some that are non-correlated. A financial planner professional can help guide you through that part of asset allocation. And don't forget to rebalance your asset allocation. This action is an action that goes against the grain, but it's in your long-term interest to rebalance. Don't buy on margin. Don't borrow from your 401k. And think about the notion of risk aversion. How do people react negatively to uncertainty, to time? Can they lower their media intake? Can they lean on their experience? Can they feel comfortable that they've created an actual cash cushion? If you're a retiree, that you can go after cash for spending needs or for your emergency fund. Being comfortable with clear goals and the diversification have all helped me through these challenges. And speaking of goals and personal finance investing, a great leader, Dr. Benjamin Mays, former president of Morehouse College, said, "The tragedy in life doesn't lie in not reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goal to reach." It isn't a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disgrace not to reach for the stars, but it's a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. Not failure, but low aim is a sin. Now, I trust I've helped ease some of your discomfort and cure some of your financial paralysis today, and I have my experience to share with you. And remember, here at What's Next with Money, there's never a copay, and you're not going to get a bill. So be sure to hit that subscribe and like button, and don't forget to share. And remember, new episodes of What's Next with Money are posted on Thursdays.